We discussed in part 1 the use of JIRA plus GitHub when you're using issue level branching, assuming you just have master, develop, and the issue level. In core Scrum, this makes a lot of sense because you're a completely independent team. But as you start to scale and need to coordinate either multiple teams or multiple teams that have to leverage dependencies from the entire enterprise, that can be a hassle. You can't quite do it that way. And we'll start to explore the issues that go along with that. Now, the issue level in JIRA is the story when you're using JIRA Agile and you start up a new Scrum project. Those are the items that show up in that list on the product backlog. The epic level is the out-of-the-box parent level for all of JIRA. Now, there's some interesting things we can do as we go a little bit deeper into how to use this branching method to coordinate multiple teams. Now, as you look at this messy diagram I just drew, you'll notice that I've got all kinds of issue level things. In JIRA, those are called cards, and you can create a potentially infinite number of issue types that are at the issue level. You can't make more parent level cards due to its architecture. The epic forever holds that place. I assume if you do some really hacky code, you might be able to get away from it. And below the issue level are subtasks. The key thing to remember is that a subtask will really only be visible either on a Kanban board or during the sprint within the work in progress board. So this issue level is where most of the work in JIRA ought to happen. So what is the first thing we want to do if we need to scale? The product increment. So let's pretend that we have 2 Scrum teams that need to coordinate their work. Now, the first Scrum team could go along putting stories directly into develop. Perhaps there's technical updates to make, like a framework change that could go into develop. Or you could even have CSS updates that are independent of any real user story value. And then, meanwhile, one of the teams needs to start rolling out integration with a popular social media platform. So they need to branch off develop for the epic and JIRA to ensure that this doesn't get released until things like the framework itself is installed with all the libraries, stories get developed, and several other items get in place so that it's a cohesive experience for the user. What we want to do is secure the fact that this team can work on this epic until it hits MVP, while the rest of the group can continue to release as often as possible.